Are you struggling to tame a turtle? Or perhaps just want to know how to go about things? The MEGACHELON is an ocean turtle that you can find in the ocean biome, and it can be extremely difficult to tame. Whilst I was scouring the internet for information on how to tame one myself, I couldn't find anything that really helped me tame one myself. So today, I've prepared a video to actually show you how to tame one properly that I hope will help any of you out there. It's also going to include information on how you breed them, what they need to eat, and what they produce off of their shell, things like that. I'm hoping to make this video pretty straightforward, and at the end I will include a very uncut version of how we went about taming our 2 turtles in this video. So not 1, but 2 turtles we did in this video to be able to breed them. So get rid of your traps, get rid of your behemoth gate boxes. It's time to actually tame this thing properly. So first of all, we actually went around this the wrong way. As we had saw in many other videos, people were trapping these turtles in big boxes and things like that and taming them that way. It actually proves that makes it a lot harder than it should be, so we're going to scrap those things. We don't need those. It's a lot easier if you do it this way. When we found the area we kind of wanted to tame the turtle, we got rid of all the aggressive creatures in the area. That includes saber-toothed salmon. So anything like that, get rid of it, unless it's parakeet parrotfish. Now you can do this with a single person, because I've had someone on my server do it solo, but I would recommend 2 people for this, and you're going to need 1 person to kite the turtle, and another person to kite the fish up. One key factor in this as well, you cannot guide these in the shallows. We found out after a while that the fish would bug out and become unresponsive if you brought them into the shallows too much. So make sure the underneath is plenty deep. At least make sure you could probably stack 3 behemoth gates, or at least 2 below you. Otherwise, I think they will probably bug out and not work properly for you. That being said, if you're guiding the fish, you have to be very slow about it. You have to let them kind of nibble on your back a little bit as you bring them along. So it is a very slow, tedious process, but that's just how it goes. If you're lucky enough, you might find some on their own and not in too crowded area, and that would kind of be the ideal scenario. The person guiding the turtle will need to attract its attention and gain its aggro so it can bring it closer to the person with the fish. That's quite an easy thing to do because they will follow you for quite a while, although they will not go below a certain depth. So make sure you stay kind of shallow with them and kind of on the border of their ceiling, because they won't dive that far. So once you've got these 2 things into play, the idea is you have to connect the 2 together. So you either get off of your mount and do it that way, or you just be very patient and try and get them to circle into each other until those fish eventually latch on to the butt of the turtle. And I literally mean the butt, they will go on the butt. And that's when the taming will start. We often found as well, when this starts to happen, the turtle will start doing circles, or it will just swim around in a very close area. It won't move around too much, but it will swim. In this period of time, while it's taming, saber-toothed salmon are going to try and sabotage your tame. So you need to keep an eye out for like any stray salmons that will actually spawn in the area because you're taming this thing, and get rid of them. I recommend you bring some sort of pike to get rid of them, because that's very efficient. A sword doesn't really have the reach in the ocean, so I do not recommend that. But a good pike should be efficient enough to get rid of those fish. And once it's taming, all you pretty much got to do is you've got to guard it and look out for those salmons. That's why 2 people come in handy, because you have 2 sets of eyes. Although it's not impossible on solo, but it will be difficult, so just bear that in mind. On my server I have 7 times rates, and I have a little spyglass mod to be able to see these things, but it doesn't affect anything else. So that's why you can see all the statistics and everything like that. And it took us about 5 to 15 minutes to do one of these turtles to tame it fully out at level 280 and 300. Once you've kind of got them connected, then it's not too much of a problem because it comes a lot easier from there. So remember, make sure it's deep where you tame it, no traps, let it swim freely, and keep an eye out for the saber-toothed salmons. Also, sharks will try and eat these things, so keep an eye out for sharks and get rid of them, because you do not want anything like that in the area. You want it to go as smooth as possible for you, so make sure you get rid of those as well, or any aggressive creatures. Once it's tamed out, you'll be quite happy, and I would probably cryopod it if you can and bring it back to your base as safely as possible. They are omnivores, so they're going to eat a diet of meat and berries. And the great thing about these turtles is they will produce seeds and rare flowers and rare mushrooms inside their inventory over time. They are quite slow creatures, so be careful you don't get yourself in any trouble, because down in the depths below you can get a lot of mean creatures, so kind of keep it shallow or bring protectors with you. It does have quite a strong bite, but I mean that's probably nothing compared to your normal mosas or your squids, so do be careful. He's very slow and probably can get trapped up in sharks quite easily. Now we're going on to the breeding. When you breed these guys, you can't do it in the shallows. You have to go to the deepest point of the oceans. So I'm on Genesis right now, and I've gone into the little glowy bits below. You can see my cords in the top left, if that helps you. It is a very deep bit of ocean we had to sink down into. We did try on a bit we thought would be deep enough where squids and mosas could be, but we needed to go even deeper than that. So that's what we had to do until it said above the female that she was ready to mate and it was deep enough. So once we got to that point, we enabled mating and it was fine from there. Although you have to be careful at these depths because lots of mean creatures are there, so keep your eyes peeled for anything that's going to disturb you and your turtles. You might want to make them a behemoth gate area so they can mate in. I don't know if that would be safe enough for you, because they can actually fit through behemoth gates, so you should be fine that way. If you wanted to do something like a behemoth gate trap, you could probably do that way if you wanted to mate them like that or anything. Once they've done their business and hatched their egg also has to be hatched underneath the ocean. No amount of air cons will help you on the surface to hatch this egg. Although you can cryopod the baby and bring it up to the surface once it's hatched down below, up to the top, and it will feed off just fine. So no hatching on the surface either, hatch it in the deep as you did the mum and dad's mating. Once you've got a baby out though, the baby will eat a mixture of meat and berries, but I'll seem to prefer the berries over the meat, so I'd probably be safe and get some berries for this thing, because it seems to prefer those over the meat, so just so you know. Also with our little one, it seemed to like to slip away quite a lot, so we put it in a container to keep it still. They seem to slide and it's quite bizarre how they do it. It might grow into the building pieces you've trapped it in, but you can always cryopod it back up and release it somewhere else. We did notice as well the babies do tend to eat a lot, so you do want to be careful with that as well. Make sure you're well equipped with lots of food. And it's very handy because the baby will also provide oxygen off its shell, so you won't need any air tanks when you're raising this little megachelon. And the baby will also produce rare mushrooms and flowers inside its inventory as it's growing up. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to explain on this turtle on how to tame it or how to breed it. At the end of this video, so right in a minute, I'm going to leave a little end bit with the full kind of video experience of how we tamed it uncut, so you can fully see how we did it. But anyway, thank you for watching, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I'm going to cry if something interrupts this right now. Oh my god, my heart is beating so fast, dude. Yes! We got turtle, dude!